Very excited. I'm very excited because I just put on a brand new, look at this, brand new and shiny triple drop rig, like a store-bought tourist rig. Look at nice little beads on there, put on brand new 1/0 hooks, and I got a used weight, but that's okay. It's still gonna work. It's still gonna sink to the bottom. I'm real excited to use this. But this is a great rig. I catch a lot of fish on this rig, but it's not the only rig out there. So today we're gonna take a look at 3 different rigs you can use, and I'm also gonna show you how ordinary fish can turn a brand new rig like that into this. Come on, let's go. A really smart thing to do is every time you've gone fishing is to check over your gear. Check over your rigs. Check your line, make sure your knots are on there tight. Now this is just a regular double drop store-bought rig, but it's still going to have problems. The hooks are going to rust, and if that happens, they can bend, they can break like this one. So you're going to want to take those off, check your weight, make sure everything's good with it. And if it's not, disassemble that rig. They're not that expensive. Take the weight off, take the hooks off, throw the whole thing away, go get another one. But if it's still in good shape, you can simply just, open up the clasps, take off the old rusty hooks like that, and put on a new one. I don't know if you can notice it, but there is some rust starting to build up on that. And if I was to continue to use that, I probably would lose some fish. So this is me putting on some new hooks. Now these are 1/0 hooks. And you can catch a lot of fish and a lot of big size fish on 1/0 hooks. You really don't need bigger hooks. But I'm going to show you 3 rigs that I use 3 different size hooks with. But this being the first, just my double drop rig. So I'm going to put these guys on right here and we're going to go out and fish. Now I'm going to show you some problems we're into that you can run into with these rigs if you don't do this work and take care of your rigs. So first up, we're going to go out fishing with Captain Josh. He was in town and he was using the little pink reel and he got himself a nice big fish. Now the problem wasn't the rig on this. The problem was, I could almost pull it out of his hand there. The problem was we didn't have the drag set. On this little pink reel, the drag gets stuck sometimes and it won't let the fish take the drag. And the problem with that is if you're fighting a fish like that and he can't take the drag, he's going to bend the hook. And that's exactly what happened. This was, by the way, a really big red drum. We saw it. He got it right up to the surf, but then it just bent that hook. If he had had the drag loosened, that fish could have taken a couple of runs. We could have tired him out and got him back in. So that hook probably wasn't a bad hook, but if it was rusty, it would have broke if it had any damage to it. So I went out again the next time, and I didn't take Captain Josh, and I also got a nice big fish on a little pink rod. And then at the same time, I got another big fish on the other rod, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? So I'm trying to focus here. Like, do I catch the one on the pink rod because I started with him? Do I let the other one go? Which is better? So I was like, let me just reel him in. Now I had reset the drag. So this fish was taking a couple of runs, and he kind of ran a couple times where he decided to go on the other side of the line. I still had that fish on the other pole, so I kind of had to do both and move the little pink rod over to one side and put the other rod back in the other rod holder so they wouldn't tangle up the line. And I just decided at that point I'm gonna bring in this fish on the little pink rod. I'm just going to bring it right up onto the beach, and then he's not going to go anywhere. And I saw that it was a black drum, and a nice sized black drum at that. So I said, let me get this other fish. Maybe I was getting greedy, but this fish gave me a couple of tugs too. And then he did what the big mistake right there was. He broke the line. He actually broke the monoleader. So that goes to show you, if you don't check your rigs and your line, that monoleader could have been frayed. Maybe he just got a good pull and he was a little bit stronger than I thought he was. But either way, I probably should check that rig and maybe made a new rig before I used it. But I decided to measure the black drum, and he turned out to be a whopping 18 inches, which I'm fairly happy about. I'll take an 18-inch black drum any day. I love black drum. It's one of my wife's favorite fish to eat. Sweet because I think they eat a lot of crab and crustaceans, so I know they do, and I think that gives them this sweet flavor to them. So if you ever get a chance to eat a black drum and he's over legal size, definitely keep him. Then I tried again on a little pink rod, and I lost another rig. Can you believe this? And I think it was a bluefish because he actually bit the line clear off. And a lot of times the bluefish will see that shiny clasp and they'll just bite it, and they have the sharp teeth and they can just bite the line right off. So much for that, and that's gone. So I decided, let me try another rig. Now this is a Carolina rig, and I'm going to use here a 3/0 hook instead of a 1/0 hook. I decided I'm going to go a little bigger, just a little stronger, and see what I can put up with. So here's a 3/0 hook. In comparison, look at the 1/0 hook to the left. The 3/0 hook's a little bigger. Now I tied this one on myself. I have a monoleader going out to a barrel swivel, going out to my main line, and there is a bead there to protect the knot where the barrel swivel is, and then a sliding egg sinker weight. So that has a hole in it, and you can just thread it through your main line, and that allows the weight to travel. Now I took it down to the ICW, and I can't believe I caught this sea robin. You know, I put on this bigger hook, and I'm actually catching these tiny little fish. Sea robin are so weird looking. They've got like wings. They've got like these little look like claws in the front. They look like little monsters or something. Like Godzilla would fight him if he was bigger. So I let him go, and then I got another bite, and I was excited, so I reeled it in, and it was a pinfish. Come on, everybody, get pinfish. So I was going to show you the pins on the back of the pinfish, but before I could, he decided to go back in the water. So good release there. And then I caught another one, so I got the opportunity to show you these pin needles on the back and how to carefully hold one of these pinfish when you catch them, which you will because they're plentiful. Now, they're called pinfish because they have these needle-like bones in their dorsal fin, and they will definitely hurt you. So what you want to do is carefully just push back, and once they're back, you can hold on to the fish and not get spiked in the hand, which is great. I decided at this point I was using shrimp, and I said, let me go get some fiddler crabs, which are plentiful down at the end of the ICW. Just gotta go look in the grass. Look at them, hundreds of them, thousands of them. How do you pick up a fiddler crab? One at a time. If you try to catch them all at once, you'll go crazy. Just focus on one, pick them up, put them in the bucket, and go get another one. Even though they're running away, you can just get one at a time, you'll fill them up. And the reason I decided to use the fiddler crab was because I feel like the littler fish will leave the fiddler crabs alone, and things like black drum will eat the fiddler crabs. That was my thinking there. Now I'll just put it in the side, right through, and just have the point of the hook just come out the top, and just like that, and I'll just leave that. I'll cast that out and hoping to catch a nice big fish, and right away I got a hit and I reeled it in, and lo and behold, it was a pinfish. I thought I just said they would leave these things alone. Well, apparently they like fiddler crabs as well. So I decided I need to just reassess the situation. I clear my head. So I decided to go to the farmer's market. If you've never been to the farmer's market, it's off of 46th Street, Middleton Park. It's kind of behind Town Hall over where the splash pad is. And it's Mondays from 8 to 1. And they've got like really kind of fun stuff. They've got obviously farmer's market type stuff, tomatoes and cucumbers and whatever. They even had a booth with some wine, but it was like 8 o'clock Monday morning. I was not ready to do that just yet, so I passed that one up. But they've got plenty of other things. They've got sauces and jellies, salsa out there, some hippie chick granola, peaches, watermelon, any type of basically farmer's market stuff you can get. One of the big hits there was this next booth, the lemonade stand. They were rocking. I was like, I need to get me one of those lemonades. They must be really good. And they also sell sort of crafty stuff, and this one caught my eye, yard birds. So if you need a yard bird, you know where to go to get one. And who doesn't need a yard bird? Right? Look at this guy. He's looking at me. All right, here's my next rig, third rig. It is another version of the Carolina rig. I use it for blues and for sharks. That's my 1/0 hook, my 3/0 hook, and this one's going to have a 5/0 hook. So that's a pretty big hook. You're only going to catch big fish with that. I put it on a steel leader with a haywire twist going to a barrel swivel, and then I put a bead there on the monoline, and then this is how I put the weight on. And instead of using an egg sinker, I'm going to use a regular pyramid weight. I have a barrel swivel with line, just a loop tied to that barrel swivel. And I'm just going to take the loop and I'm going to thread it through the pyramid sinker weight. And then once it's through, I just open up the loop and loop it around the sinker. So that just stays on there just like that. Nice, nice, nice. The beauty of it is if I need to change that weight, I can go heavier, I can go lighter. Then I just take the barrel swivel, I thread it through my leader, and then I just tie that line to my main line with an FG knot, and I'm good to go. And that weight can slide back and forth, and when a fish comes, he's going to pick up that hook and run. Now, I like to use finger mullet with this, and I've shown this in other videos, but I'm going to show it one more time how I put a finger mullet onto one of these rigs. So I grab my finger mullet, and you can buy these in the local bait shops or frozen, and I'm just going to stick my 5/0 hook right through the eyeball. So it just goes right through both eyes and comes out the other side. And I'm going to pull that through. And then I'm going to take the hook and I'm going to take about the middle of the fish where the gut is really. And I'm going to place the hook into that fish and pull it through the other side. So it's coming out the other side. As you can see here, I'm going to turn that so you can see it good in the back. Now I'm going to turn my hook so it's facing towards the back with the point towards the back. And I'm going to go back in the fish one more time and then have the point stick out. And once I have the point sticking out, I'm just going to flatten down the hook by pushing on the eye and just flatten it back like that. Now when a bluefish comes, he's going to bite from the back. And basically he's going to get that hook in his mouth, and then you're going to have a hook on. Now here it is. Look, now watch how good this works. I get my thumbs. Oh, see, it worked great. All right, let's take it down to the ocean here, surf, and see what we can do with it. I threw it out there, and I got basically what I was looking for, a bluefish. I've caught a couple of bluefish this season, nothing really big, and this one wasn't very big either, but they have no problem dealing with that 5/0 hook, and they do love the finger mullet, so they're pretty easy to catch. I'm going to take this one and measure him, but I can tell he's pretty small and he's going to go back. But it turns out he was about a foot. It's just kind of common for your spring bluefish. Sometimes I like to get him a little bigger than that, and I'll keep him and smoke him, or I'll eat him fresh that day. Some people don't like bluefish. I like bluefish if I eat them that day. But he's going back in the water. Now, the thing about this rig is you will also attract sharks. There's no doubt about it. And I've got one here, and he's giving me a good run. Now, I have the drag set so he can run, and he did. He ran a couple of times. And I will also walk a shark down the beach. If he decides he wants to go down the beach, I'll go down the beach with him, because they'll come in towards, they'll turn around and go back out. So I'm trying to keep him happy and entertained. But once I get to the surf right there, I'll just kind of drag him up. So I'm going to set my rod in here. I'm going to go take a look at him and see what I got. He's decent size, maybe a 2.5, 3 feet, something about right around that area. So I'm just going to pull him up and we'll check him out. He turned out to be an Atlantic sharpnose, and you can tell that because they have spots on them. They have white spots on them, and you can keep an Atlantic sharpnose. He's also a male because he has claspers down there on the bottom, and he's also very frisky. He's not enjoying this at all. I decided to keep him, and I will tell you what I did as I cut underneath the neck where his gills are, and I bled him out. And it's not too graphic here, but it is a little bit graphic. So if tourists are around, sometimes I don't like to do it, and I won't keep them. I will only keep one a year, because they are high in mercury. So once I catch one, I pretty much pack it up and go right there, because I want to get home and process them right away. I bleed them out because sharks pee through their skin, and if you don't bleed them out, that blood will be in there, and it'll give you that bad flavor. So while I was outside, I processed the fish. I took off his head and I cut all the fins away. And that makes it a lot easier for processing when you just want to get down to filleting it. A sharp knife, you saw me sharpening it up right there. That helps. The skin is like sandpaper. It's so tough, and it will dull out your knife right away. So you're constantly having to sharpen it. But I'll fillet it like any other fish. You can see I'm just going down the whole fish here and holding it up against the bone, and then getting that one piece of meat right off right there. And I'll flip that other one over and get that piece off as well. Again, holding the fillet knife down against the bone, pressing down against the bone, and just going down the whole length of the fish till you get to the end and just pulling it clean through. And then what you're going to have is 2 fillets with the skin still on, and just that middle piece of bone that you can throw in your crab trap or something like that. So I'm just going to get rid of that. There's really not any meat, just a little cartilage bone there. Get rid of that, and we have our pieces. Then I'll start at the tail, and I'll just hold down the skin, and I'll press the knife up against the skin, like down and against the skin, so I can get the skin off. And again, the same thing, pulling the knife all the way down. And again, having that knife sharpened helps a lot. You can see it's still giving me a hard time here getting through, even though I just sharpened it. The next thing I'll do is take that piece of skin, get rid of that, and I'll clean up the fish. I'll clean off the belly fat, because the belly fat can be high mercury, and any of these blood, you see the blood in there, I just cut that off, because that is going to give that bad flavor. So we're going to cut out those blood lines, so I just have the nice white meat. Then pretty much I'll just stake it out like I'm going to do right here. I'll just chunk off pieces. And of course I've got a lot of shark meat, and I don't want to eat, I probably eat it once a week. So I'm going to bag it up. I'm going to freeze the chunks that I don't use, the little steaks, and I can throw this on the grill, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some little fish bites, little shark bites. It's probably one of my favorite things. So I'll clean off the meat one more time, and just, like I said, I'll put it in Ziploc bags and just wrap those up nice and tight, throw those in the freezer, and they'll keep, and I can just keep taking them out whenever I want and having them, because Kim won't eat the shark. She doesn't like it. I think I have not prepared it in the past properly, and so she's all turned off to it. But I actually really like it. So I will cut up my shark bites into little like chicken nugget size pieces, little chunks right here. And I'm just going to cut them up like that, so I have it all chunked up. And then I'm going to start with my seasoning. I've got there some salt, some black pepper, I've got the magic, and I've got some basically just flour. That's all I'm doing. So I'm going to drop it in the flour and then get it covered on one side. Take my pepper right there, season it with the pepper, season it with the salt, and then of course I'm going to season it with some of the red fish black magic. So I'm going to put that on there too. Then I'm just going to roll it around in the flour again. It's just a light dusting of flour. I'm not trying to make a heavy breading or anything like that. And I just get that going. And now we're going to go to the frying pan, and it's going to be as simple as that. We're going to turn on the heat, grab some olive oil. You can use butter if you like, but I just throw some olive oil in there. Keep it real clean, keep it real Mediterranean, like. And then once it's hot and ready to go, just drop those little shark bites in there and get them frying up. And it's really that simple. And they're going to be great. And you can use like a little, whatever type of sauce you want. I did like a little lime crema on the side, but like any type of little dipping sauce, you can dip them in. And they're way better than chicken nuggets. Forget about McDonald's. McShark nuggets, I guess is what we're doing right here. So there you go. If you want to try it, Atlantic sharpnose, pretty good. And check your rigs, make sure. And that's it. Let's go fishing.